Here's the good stuff that you want from AMD. Nvidia selling $1 billion of GPUs to China, and ASUS. What is happening over there, my guy? Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. And we're going to start off today talking about how we're giving away a 13900K 4090 PC this Friday. Come watch us for that. We also gave away an ROG Ally last Friday. That was a ton of fun, which we're going to talk about the ROG Ally in a second. But right now, we're going to talk about the 7800 XT GPU that we've been anticipating from AMD for the last 6+ months that they have not released to us. We talked in a recent episode about how in synthetic benchmarks that kind of showing what the 7800 XT should be, it doesn't look like it's going to perform very well, and so it might not necessarily come out. However, there are now some EEC filings by ASRock showing off that the 7800 XT at least is existing in the ether with 16 gigabytes of VRAM, no benchmarks, no word on performance. An EEC filing tends to happen closer to the launch of a GPU, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to come out because we've seen EEC filings of like 10 gigabyte versions of the RTX 4060. It's just not going to happen. They're just slapping numbers and labels together and throwing them into the filings. But if you want to buy a GPU that is real, or you want to buy a computer that is real, you should check out today's video sponsor, Jawa, because they're the marketplace for gamers by gamers, where you can be confident that you're going to be picking up something that's going to work for your system. Whether you want to buy a high-end GPU or you just want to replace your aging GTX 1060, Jawa should be your go-to stop to find out, hey, can I get it from a reputable person like one of their verified sellers? People in the Jawa community that you know you can trust, who have been around and have established themselves as reputable sellers. Or you can go over on their Discord server, which is over 8,000 members strong, and you'll be able to discuss, hey, 1060, what should I upgrade to? Potentially, if that's what you're noodling about. 1060 is the most common GPU. That's why I'm throwing it out as reference. Or if you want to buy a whole PC, potentially want to give it as a gift for somebody's birthday, or, you know, retroactively give it for Father's Day, you can check out their commission build program, where you can tell them all of the games, the FPS, and every resolution that you want to play at, and they'll pair you up with a verified seller to make sure that you're getting a PC that matches everything you need. Or if you just want to sell your GPU to them directly and not have to deal with the classifieds, they'll buy it off of you. Just tell them what you have and they'll make you an offer right then and there. Jawa is the place where gamers buy, build, and sell. You should check them out at the link in the video description, especially if you're going to be selling some old parts, trying to buy some new to you parts, or even new parts, because that happens on Jawa as well. Check them out at the link in the video description. Big thanks to them for sponsoring today's video. But in case you pick up a Z690 or Z790 motherboard, you might be able to slot in a 14th gen CPU, and now it's being reported that Intel's upcoming Raptor Lake refresh might be dropping sometime in October. Now, we don't know a whole lot about these. It's just going to be the 13th gen, but better somehow. Intel recently degraded the packaging on the 13900K and 13900KS, so that does seem to indicate that they are indeed coming out with new chips sometime soon. Additionally, when we were at Computex talking to motherboard vendors, they were all launching like their max version of new motherboards, except for we found out that even though multiple companies started calling them the Z790 Max, we talked to ASRock and they were like, we were never told to do that, so we're not calling ours Max. We don't know what's happening here. So they are just calling theirs like the Wi-Fi 7 version. But in case you have a current gen motherboard, you are getting a BIOS update for that on several different motherboard manufacturers. Maybe hold off on ASUS for a second. We'll talk about that in a bit. But ASRock with their B760 MPG Sonic Wi-Fi got an update so that you can support the next gen CPUs from Intel when however they come out. We'll see what's going on there. And we're seeing what's going on with the RTX 4060 Ti. I'm gonna sneak a deal in here before Reece ever does one, which, Reece, you gonna do deals? Potentially. He's busy with stuff. I'm gonna let him slide on this one. But in case he doesn't pull through, I at least got a 4060 Ti deal for you. $379, it's $20 off. They're below MSRP already over on Newegg. This Ventus one with what looks to be minimal RGB. It's a nice sleek looking card. Still $80 too high, but in case you were thinking of picking one up, there it is. And hopefully here is Reece for UFD Deals.
No deals!
There you have it. But China, they're not getting a deal when it comes to Nvidia's GPUs because it looks like they're trying to buy $1 billion of the AI accelerated cards between a mix of the A100 GPUs and the H100 GPUs that Nvidia seems to be selling. This has gotten a little bit more complicated because there are new trade restrictions on what Nvidia can sell to China. They are not allowed to sell their flagship cards anymore. So the A100, those orders were placed before the export embargo happened, and now they can't actually buy the brand new H100. They have to buy the H800, which is a cut down version of the H100. However, it doesn't look like Nvidia is charging any less for it. So it looks like the average sale price for it is about $10,000 per card. So with all of that being said, it looks like ByteDance, which is the company that owns TikTok and a whole bunch of other stuff, is actually going to be making an order for over 100,000 GPUs from Nvidia to accelerate all of their AI stuff. Just so you know, that's a lot of GPUs.
You want fries with that?
But in case you were thinking about using them for gaming, maybe don't. Maybe buy a ROG Ally or not. We'll talk about that again in a second. The H100 has been benchmarked in several different applications. A Chinese YouTuber got his hands on them. He got his hands on 4 of them, which cost over $100,000, Reece.
Damn.
4 of them. I can't even get Nvidia to send me an RTX 4060. My goodness. Anyways, in AI accelerated workloads, it beats out the 4090 as well as the RTX 6080, which is something you would hope would happen. And also when it comes to large language models, it can handle up to 65 billion parameters, whereas the 4090 can't even do 6 billion parameters. So the H100 absolutely flexing its muscles right there. But it's got a little bit of shrinkage when it comes to video games. It turns out that when you benchmark this in something like Time Spy or Red Dead Redemption 2, the H100, again, a GPU that easily is sold by Nvidia for 10 grand, might hit retail shelves for 30 grand in some places, loses to the Radeon 680M, which is the generation before what is in the ROG Ally, the 780M. So this thing is slow when it comes to 3D accelerated video game performance. Now, part of this could be due to drivers, part of this could just be due to bad optimization on the actual die, but at 1080p high settings in Red Dead 2, you're getting under 30 FPS, and part of that is because the H100 is pulling less than 100 watts of power. Doesn't seem like it's working all too hard, so maybe don't buy these for gaming, you silly person with way too much disposable income. Reece, don't buy one of these for gaming. I know you've been eyeing it up.
I'm gonna.
Hey, Mr. Moneybags. You keep your money in your pants.
No.
Okay, he's gonna flaunt it everywhere. And ASUS really wants to flaunt that they are bad at BIOS support. We had the whole debacle with the X3D chips where they were burning them up, and then they came out and they said, hey, we're not gonna cover your warranty. Okay, we're actually gonna cover your warranty because everybody made a big stink about this, but it's beta BIOS is it was a whole thing. Go watch Gamers Nexus video about it. We talked about it a while ago, but now with the ROG Ally, their latest hit product that everybody seems to want to be getting their hands on. If you pay attention to the likes of the Fox and other handheld YouTubers and people who are checking this out, the latest BIOS that's been released for the Ally, which was supposed to make things up to 20% faster, actually made everything slower. You can see right here in Batman Arkham Knight going from 72 FPS average down to 71 at 25 watt TDP. Cyberpunk 2077 going from 49 FPS all the way down to 41. This BIOS update was supposed to help in the 9 watt region where it was actually low power performance, but it seems to have nerfed nearly every single level of performance that the Ally had, and just continues to show that something's going funny over at ASUS when it comes to their software support. It doesn't appear to be a cohesive unit that has an idea of what's going on. And when asked for a comment about what to do about this situation, ASUS said, some users are reporting lowered performance on the latest BIOS 3.19. If you want to hold off on that BIOS update, you can. Thanks, ASUS. Clear as mud. Really appreciate that. The direct transparency of me as a consumer knowing what's going on couldn't be better.
Good stuff.
It's good stuff. Thank you. I know I can choose not to update it. Thank you, ASUS. We'll obviously have to see if there's any more improvements that happen in the next BIOS update, or if that continues to bork stuff, or maybe, probably not. This is just me going off on a conspiracy theory tangent. This is not real. The chips are gonna explode. I was waiting for you, Reece, on that one.
What? My bad.
Yeah, it's okay. It was a dumb comment. It's not gonna explode. It's not gonna happen. That's fine. And just like the end of this episode of Hot News is gonna happen because it's here. We're done. It's my birthday. I'm 33 today. Bye.